If you're right now thinking about picking up a medium format camera, this might be the video for you. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Almost 3 years ago, I picked up this beast here, the Mamiya C330. And it was my first medium format camera ever. And in today's video, I want to share with you my experience that I've made shooting this beast for over 3 years now. Shortly after I picked up the camera, I wanted to start a project, and the project was to shoot the Mamiya C330 every day with the roll of HP5+. And the project was nice, but it was also at the same time very stressful because I wanted to upload the results the same day. So I had to develop the film the same day and upload to YouTube. It was fun, but like I said, it was quite stressful. However, the learning curve was also very steep and it helped me to get comfortable shooting the camera fairly quickly. Now, after finishing the project, I haven't shot the camera on a regular basis, even though I really liked the shooting experience, but more on that a little bit later. For you guys that haven't had the chance to try out the TLR camera, which is probably most of you, I guess, because it's not very common to build cameras like this anymore, unlike SLR cameras or rangefinder cameras. But it was different in the past. In the past, there have been a couple of manufacturers that were building TLR cameras because they were more popular. And the most iconic one of these was Rolleiflex. But unlike its competitors that only offered a fixed lens for the cameras, Mamiya gave their customers the option to change lenses. In total, for the C330, there are 7 different focal lengths available, and that makes the whole system very versatile. Nowadays, when you buy a Mamiya C330, the camera will probably come with a standard lens, which is typically a 80 f2.8. Mine though came with a lens that is not very common, and it is a 105 f3.5. For some time I was considering switching it out for the 80mm f2.8, but I've realized after shooting a couple of portraits that actually it's really good because it's very sharp and the bokeh you can achieve is very, very beautiful. To frame and focus your shots, you have this lovely waist level finder that also comes with the magnifying glass. And when I use that, my hit rate is usually above 90%, which is great. Similar to rangefinder cameras, parallax can become a problem because to compose the shot, you're looking through the top lens here. But obviously, if you take the shot, you will use the taking lens here, and the perspective is a little bit different. And the closer you get to your subject, the more pronounced will get the effect. Loading the camera is very straightforward and very similar to other medium format cameras. The empty spool goes in the top and the fresh film goes in the bottom. Then you advance the film and line up the 2 arrows. Close the back and advance the film until the camera stops at frame number 1, and that's it. The camera does not have a shutter, but instead the shutter is built into the lens. And besides the bulb modus that is available, this lens here has shutter speeds ranging from 1 second to 1/500th, which is very typical for most cameras that have a leaf shutter. And typical for leaf shutter lenses is that you set the aperture and shutter speeds directly on the lens itself. The shutter mechanism is very quiet because there's no mirror inside the camera and there's nothing that can cause vibrations. So I can easily get to shutter speeds like 1/15th without having any blurred images, which is great. And that makes the camera very usable even when shooting at night. Talking about firing the camera has 2 shutter buttons. One is located down here, and the second one that I'm using most of the time is on the side here. And you could also lock the shutter over here so you cannot accidentally press it. However, there's a third way of firing the camera, even though the shutter is locked. If you press here, the camera will fire. So you have to be aware of this, otherwise you might take accidentally shots that you don't want. And before I talk more about the camera, I just wanted to mention that I have my first print sale ever. And one of the prints that I'm going to sell was taken with the Mamiya C330, and that is this one here. There will be 3 images available in total, and all 3 of them are printed on Barita paper. Now there will be only 10 prints of each image, and the print sale will be limited to 24 hours only. So it will start right now. This video goes live, and if you want one or 2, or maybe you want all 3 of them, just send me an email. The email will be in the description box down below, or go over to Instagram and send me a message. And like I said, 50 euros, shipping worldwide included, tracked shipping. And just a quick reminder, my Zine 28 that was shot on the Leica M6, it's still available. If you want one, the link will also be in the description box down below. And now back to the Mamiya C330. A neat feature of this camera is that it allows you to take multiple exposures. You set this knob here to multi after taking a shot, and then you simply cock the shutter manually and you don't advance the frame. Of course, you could cock the shutter while the camera is set to single, but then it won't allow you to take a shot. Another nice feature can be, for instance, if you like to shoot flash or strobes, that this camera will allow you to sync at any shutter speed, which is really nice, and I think that's a nice feature to have. I haven't used it a lot, but maybe if you want me to make a video using this camera and flash, maybe outdoors, let me know in the comments down below. Another thing is that this camera allows you to get really close with your focus. So if you want to take headshots, for instance, that is really nice, and compared to rangefinder cameras, that is a big advantage. I've mentioned before that I haven't really used the camera a lot in the past, even though it has some really cool features. But why is that? Well, first of all, the C330 with the 105 3.5 weighs almost 2 kilos, and it's not a particularly small camera either, so traveling with this beast is not much fun. On my last trip to Thailand, I brought the camera only because I wanted to give it some more use, but I'm almost certain that I will never do it again. If you want to shoot on eye level, a waist level finder isn't that great. There is a prism finder available that I picked up really cheap, but with that you're losing the magnifying glass, and that makes nailing focus quite a bit harder, especially in low light conditions. Over the last 3 years, the Mamiya C330 has become a camera for me that I only bring if I have something specific in mind, and that is usually portraits. For street photography, for instance, I have better tools like a M6 and so yeah, that's why I pretty much never bring this camera, because it's just simply too big and too heavy. Sure, you can shoot street with this, but it might draw more attention than you're comfortable with. And I think for street, and if you want to use a TLR, you're probably better off with a Yashica Matte or one of the Rolleiflex TLRs. Now, would I still recommend picking up the Mamiya C330? I would say absolutely, because it's a fantastic camera that has a lot of really cool features, and especially for the price that these go for, I think it's a bargain. And if you get this with a nice set of lenses, I would say go for it and give it a try. I mean, it works for me still, even though I only use it for portraits, and this is my first medium format camera, and I will probably never sell it because I really like it. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you do so, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see each other very soon in the next video. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.